here for a very special Monday. And yes, I realize that it's a little off schedule. Yes, I realize it's a little off schedule since I usually go live on Sundays, but we're here on Mother's Day Monday. So does anybody have any art requests? Hello Gizmo, it's so good to see you. Does anybody have any live art requests before we get started? And not, let's start with Orange Board. Let me know if you can see or hear the shenanigans. If not, I'll start over and start another stream. Technology has been giving me so many issues today. Hello, Matthew. It's so good to see you. How are you doing? What is up? And how is everybody doing this afternoon? And if you celebrated Mother's Day, how was your Mother's Day? And also, I do wish all the mothers and everybody who celebrates a very happy Mother's Day. Hello, Gutty. It's good to see you. It's a small world after all. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hopes and a world of fears. And also, by the way, I do have an Instagram account called Tonio Tao. If you wish to send a photo, a pet photo, family photo, or your mother's or one of your parents' very favorite cartoon or Disney character. Hello, Robin. It's good to see you. What's up? How are you doing? I'm glad to hear that yesterday was a good day. And for Mother's Day, I ended up to say, I just lost my monorail thought. And that's right, that's the orange bird. Hello, Shay. Good to see you. And for Mother's Day yesterday, let me think about what I did. It's already been a very, very long Monday. And yes, I've been applying for jobs. For Mother's Day, I ended up spending the day with my mother and my sisters. That was my Mother's Day. It was just a very, very pleasant day. And I also met with somebody else to help them. I can't go into much detail, but I helped them design the logo for the website, and I'm also going to be doing the website. Even though I'm still job hunting, I'm still doing freelance art projects on the side, which has really been helping me pass the time. And Sundays are hello CJ, so good to see you. Sundays are a lot slower than other. Like today, I thought I was going to get a call and get a really busy day. Unfortunately, the person could not call and had to postpone the call. So that's one of the realities of freelancing. Is sometimes you win, other days you lose. Alright, one moment, everybody. So some days you win, and other days you get nodded. It is in the freelance world. It is either feast or famine, just to be very honest. And it can be a little frustrating at times, especially when you're expecting a really busy day and your day comes out and your day is exactly the opposite. And also, hey CJ, I really like your new profile picture. So it can be a little frustrating at times. Spike the bee, woo! That's all. I'm curious, Robin, but how do you know that was Spike the bee? Oh, that's so sweet, Robin. I didn't know that I am curious, Robin, do you have the Spike the bee popcorn bucket by chance? And I also do want to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers here and for everybody who celebrates. Usually I do some special stuff during the holidays. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot to draw a figment, one little spark of imagination. Put two and two together, and you get all creation. And now we know our A, B, C, D's, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, on and all figment. Hello, Amy. It's so good to see you. We were talking about how to put 2 plus 2 together to get one spark of imagination. And note, instead of a single thread, a double thread kabam! You get a triple threat with Figment. Because we got the trio in full force today. And now I got the Figment song stuck in my head. It's okay. Welcome to my life. Anybody else got Figment stuck in their head today? That was so special, Robin. Oh, that's so special. Usually for Mother's Day, sometimes for Mother's Day I do a tea set for my mom, and I also for Mother's Day too, and also for Mother's Day I do like to throw in a few little surprises too. Oh, same here, Robin. I now got Figment, and yes, I can draw the Holland Spider-Man. I never heard of Tom Holland before, but I do know of the Peter Parker into the Spider-Verse. Isn't Tom Holland? I'm trying to remember who Tom Holland is, but isn't Tom Holland one of the characters from Frosty the Snowman? Mama Medulla. Mama Medulla. Oh, that's so awesome, Amy. I know we also got Draw Stitch too. So, Orange Bolt, Figment, and Stitch. They say that Stitch is becoming the new Disney icon, which I know it's kind of controversial, but I just really love Bellhop Stitch, and I just really love seeing Stitch being everywhere. He's like one of the most like underrated characters, and that's why he deserves a lot of love and limelight. That's so good to know that Tom Holland. That's so good to know about Tom Holland, Matthew. I'm curious what Spider-Man movies did Tom Holland play in, and I'm very sorry to hear, Robin. It is definitely a really hard day. Yeah, I'm just really sorry to hear. It is really sad whenever somebody really special in your life, does make the transition. And definitely, I can draw a baby Mandel. I can draw a baby shark. Mandel. Hello, CC. It's so good to see you. I can draw a baby shark. Zooming by the Tower. Oops, I meant to say. I can draw a baby Grogu and Mandalorian zooming by the Tower of Terror. Yeah, I can definitely imagine, Robin. It just really sucks. Unfold. It just really sucks, and I'm also really sorry to hear, Amy. It's really rough. It's really rough to lose a very significant family member. I'm not sure why, but when I draw with Figment, I tend to draw him with bat wings by accident. And I just realized that Figment is half crocodile, half dragon, and half bat. Hello, Joe. Good to see you. You came just in time to see Figment, Orange Board, Inspector Bumpy, escape Disney security. And I'm also really sorry to hear, Gutty. That's really sad. It's just really saddening to lose somebody very special. For me personally, I did lose my grandfather. I did lose my grandfather a year, almost a year ago, which has been really sad. Unfortunately, I was not able to say goodbye, and that was like really saddening too. And yes, I can draw Hello Kitty touche. So here is the baby Gregu zooming past the Hollywood Tower Hotel. The Mama Medulla. Mama Medulla. Yeah, it was like a really sad day. So with my grandfather, I was sitting at Hollywood Studios, and I get this call. From a family member that's saying, Tony, your grandfather is not doing very well right now. I'm like, what? They were like, we're very sorry to tell you, Tony, but your grandfather, he may pass away within a few days. So I was like, what? Wait, what's going on? Literally, and ironically, I was sitting in front of the Hollywood Tower Hotel when I got the news. That was when I got the news. Was in front of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Hello, Janen. It's good to see you, and thank you, Gutty. I remember that day too. And I always forgot. I forgot that Tom Holland did appear in the Avenger movies and on a happier subject, and also, and one moment, let me see. And also, I can definitely draw Hello Kitty. I had no clue that Tom Holland was basically in all the Spider-Man and Captain America movies, including Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home with Doctor Strange. I'm very sorry to hear, Matthew. Thank you, CC. And that's really rough, Gizmo. It is definitely tough to lose family members. And thank you, Shay. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and to everybody who chooses to celebrate the holiday. I do realize that the holiday is definitely can be a really hard holiday, and it's a holiday that is not always that is definitely not easy to always celebrate. Here is the Hollywood Tower Hotel and the baby Mandalorian. I'm not sure, but I tend to call the Hollywood Tower Hotel and Medulla. Alright, Joe, do we need to get you hooked up with some Monster energy drink? I have a few cans of Monster if you'd like some. Oh, also, Joe, I can get you some. And also, Joe, I do have some extra Monster stored in the fifth dimension. Oh, if you need to take. And yes, I can drop the DeLorean from Back in the Future. Here is the Mama Medulla, Mama Medulla. So here you got yourselves a tower of figment because one little spark of imagination makes the impossible possible, allegedly. And that sounds really wild, Robin. That's dropped 20 degrees this afternoon. I would be freezing. It's really wild just how fast the metal can change. Gone from hot to cold. Weather can't be making up its mind. And also, alright, here we go. Tom Holland coming right up for Disney by Matthew. Followed by Hello Kitty by Shay. Here you go. We got Baby Mandalorian and Tower. Oh, thank you so much, Shay. So here we go. Let's go with some Tom Holland Spider-Man. When it comes to Avengers, I basically have no clue of who the actors are. Basically, all I know is cartoon characters due to my face blindness. I am unable to recognize people. I'm unable to dissociate names with faces. So that's why I often confuse actors for each other, and that's why I did not watch very much reality or live action television until I grew up. I actually still to this day prefer cartoons unless the reality characters do have a really strong personality or just a very distinct cadence, such as the House of Villains. That's been my new show lately. Is even though it's a little outlandish, my new favorite show is Out of Villains because I can distinguish the characters apart very easily. Same with football. Of all things, even though I'm not the biggest football fan, what I really love about football is that everybody wears the same uniform the entire time, and as long as I can pay attention to the quarterback and to the line positions, I'm good. And football is actually an easier sport to follow due to how it's like goes back and forth. Same with hockey, and unfortunately for me, basketball and baseball are a little trickier to follow. A little trickier to follow due to the linear nature. That's why I honestly prefer football and hockey to just about any sport. And when it comes to the Super Bowl, when it comes to becoming to the Super Bowl, I'll be waiting for the Patriots, the Broncos, the New Orleans Saints, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when it comes to the Stanley World Cup, I'll be waiting for the Ducks. I'll be rooting for the Ducks. And I'll also be rooting kind of for the Avalanches too. But I know that the Ducks and the Avalanches are going to eventually have a playoff. And it's going to be one heck of a time. That's good to know, Matthew, about baseball, especially if you know the home base, the home plate, who the runner is, who the pitcher is, and how and you definitely gotta pay attention to when the battle or the pitcher actually catches the ball, which is something that's a little tricky for me to follow even to this day. What I like about new baseball, and yes, I can definitely draw the Lolian too. Hello Kitty and the Lolian coming right up. And what I really like about baseball is that the games no longer go 5, 6, 7, 8,000, 8 bazillion hours. Instead, and what I really like about baseball right now is that there's like a 30-second rule, meaning that the pitcher only has 30 seconds to throw a pitch, which has significantly cut down game time to 90 minutes. That's why I do enjoy watching that's why I do enjoy watching the Sea Dogs and the Red Sox. That are my two teams that I always root for. Sea Dogs being the minor league AA baseball, and Red Sox being the major league baseball. So yep, I'd be rambling about the sports right now. Thank you so much, Matthew, and also that's so neat that you do enjoy volleyball and snowboarding. I do have a harder time watching snowboarding, and I'm also like still trying. I also do not know of a good volleyball team to root for. I mostly watch snowboarding, boarding during the Winter Olympics, same as skiing and gymnastics. That is my go-to sports. And when it comes to individual players and jollies, don't ask me. I know nada. I know that people just have to throw a ball across the field, and you just have to hope for your team to score a touchdown or like a goalie. Even wrong. That's the wrong sport. Oops. That's soccer and football combined. Football, soccer. Soccer ball. That's it. Soccer ball, anybody? And then I'm also curious. I know I'm kind of going off topic. Hello, Lions. Good to see you. I know I'm kind of going off topic, but does any but what do you think? But do you recognize this? But do you recognize this character by chance? This character is actually part of Hello Kitty's family, but is kind of an elusive character. So I do wonder if you know who this character is by chance. And also, there's a Pokemon and character named Max who is actually inspired by this character's personality. So if anybody recognizes this character, please let me know. I'll forever hold your peace. Mama Dula. And I'm glad you're able to rest too. Oof, that's really rough, Joel. That's a lot. It's definitely really hard when your phone keeps going off all day long, especially with like something stressful going on. Oh, you're very welcome, Shay. Does anybody recognize this character? I know he's kind of an obscure character, but he's kind of an obscure character, and he did have his own Netflix show for a little bit. Mama Medulla. Meh. Here you go. Alright. That's good. Alright, so somebody be saying, is that Dumbo? And yep, it is actually Goodemind the lazy egg. That's actually Goodemind the lazy egg. He wishes he was Dumbo, but he's actually a very lazy. He's Goodemind the lazy egg. And do you know that for Goodemind the lazy egg, he was supposed to be a piece of salmon. That was like supposed to be this other character named I believe Mr. Sparkles. Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Goodemind takes the win, and the salmon character gets no attention. So long live the salmon, pro salmon character. here's what the egg looks like. If you're curious, this is what the character actually does look like. So I definitely recommend looking up this. Yep, this is who the character is. He's actually one of my very favorite Japanese characters, besides Hello Kitty and Pikachu. So now let's do a Mandalorian. And yes, I can draw you on Big Thunder Mountain inside of a Mandalorian riding a gimbal. Got it. So we got Matthew riding a gimbal on Big Thunder Mountain. Here we go. It's I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I'm talking. So again, we got a DeLorean, then we got Matthew riding Big Thunder, holding a gigantic gimbal. So now Matthew's gonna be riding Big Thunder Mountain on a gimbal. Alright, that I got it for you. Got it. But first up, the DeLorean. Also, when I first heard about the DeLorean, the DeLorean, I thought it was some sort of cleaning supplies. And I have to admit, it's kind of a sad secret. When it comes to cars, I don't know how to draw a car if it's not a slug bug or a beetle bug. So wish us luck as draw a DeLorean, which is most likely going to end up as a beetle bug. And also, hey Jalen, so good to see you. How are you doing? I'm very happy to hear about your mom. And your mom is your mom gives me really good energy. She is so sweet. So yes, I actually thought that DeLorean was an off-brand of Bleach. When somebody was like, "Hey, by the way, this is a DeLorean," I thought it was cleaning supplies, and the person was like, "No, Tony, that's not cleaning supplies." Then I'm like, isn't that another name for Baby Yoda?" Then I was thinking that the DeLorean was cleaning supplies. I thought DeLorean was the name for Baby Yoda, so I started drawing a Baby Yoda. As I was like trying to draw a bleach bottle. That's my life. Oh my gosh! I'm curious. So I'm curious, Robin, when you saw the DeLorean, do you think that somebody inside actually time traveled? And I really do wish that I got to ride the Back to the Future attraction in Epcot. So I really wish that I was like able to see somebody ride Back to the Future in Epcot along with E.T. That was so awesome. Robin, when did you get to ride Back to the Future? And honestly, for me, if I was to see a DeLorean and knew what it was, I would be thinking that it was either Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny trying to disguise his sleigh, trying to disguise their sleighs. Oh, that was Universal, not Epcot. Oops, my bad. That's been my kind of day. That's been my day. Oh, I wish I also got to ride Jaws too. And I'm curious, Robin, how were you able to ride Back to the Future so many times before it got replaced with The Simpsons and now the Minions? And also, I'm curious, speaking of Epcot, what time is Luminous tonight? So I'm curious, what time would Luminous be? This way we can be rushing on over to Epcot just in time for some Luminous, because I'm honestly in the mood to see Monk's Disney streams on the Epcot barge. And I do wonder and one of my dreams would be getting Pixie Dusted to get invited onto the Epcot barge. Not the barge stuff, but the boats that drive people out. And it's okay, Robin. Welcome back to the madness, to the DeLorean madness. And I actually thought that the DeLorean. Hello, in the park days. It's so good to see you. Do you have any art requests that you'd like me to draw? Right now, we're drawing a DeLorean for Gutty. Then we're gonna be dealing with Matthew riding Big Thunder Mountain with a giant on a gimbal. Oh, I also heard that just like The Simpsons ride Back to the Future was a screen-based attraction. And the medulla was marvelous medulla. And then the medulla was a very marvelous medulla. That's good to know. That's good to know that monks will hopefully be around for that monks will hopefully be out and about for some Luminous tonight. Because right after this, we are going to be going over to Monk's Disney stores just to see if we can catch him doing some Luminous. Because who's in the mood for some Luminous and Figment and to virtually be in Epcot tonight? Definitely am. Definitely am in the mood for some Epcot tonight. It's been a long time waiting. I was in Hollywood Studios this morning virtually. Then I was in Animal Kingdom. Then I was in Disneyland. Then I was in Disneyland Paris. Then I was in... I lost my monorail thoughts, so here you go. Here's a Mandalorian. Before I lose even more monorail thoughts. So, moving on. Let's see. Here's a Mandalorian. Woo! So, I have an idea. Oops, I lost my idea too. So I just find it really wild. What I find really impressive about Back to the Future is just how many screens it had. And literally, when you saw the attraction, it had a row of cars that looked just like this, an entire row of 20, bam, 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 bam. And then another row of 20 on top, and then another row. And it's okay, Mrs. Days. It's okay, Mrs. Days. I totally understand. Do you have a favorite animal or Disney cartoon character? I totally understand, Amy. It was so good to see you, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. So now here's Disney by Matthew riding a Gamble on Big Thunder Mountain. So here you go, Matthew. Here is a big Thunder Gamble. And yes, I can drop you drum. Eeyore, the snowman was a very jolly soul, and on his head oh no, I'm mixing up Frosty the Snowman and Eeyore the Snowman. Oh, thank you so much, Cuddy. That means a lot. I do love drawing. I do love drawing what you all got to request. And even though I can't draw Caponata, I definitely got to get my practice going. And that's right. Oh, Mrs. Daisy, here you go. Money coming up after Big Thunder Railroad. So this is how I go about drawing the Big Thunder Mountain. And when it comes to Big Thunder Mountain, it kind of gets me a little bit nervous, to be honest. And when it comes to Big Thunder Mountain, I remember when I first rode it at 6 years old. I ended up going on Big Thunder Mountain, and lo and behold, I thought it was going to be like a boat ride, or like the Disney World Railroad. Next thing you know, I'm zipping around the mountain, and I ask, why did I have to ride Big Thunder Mountain? The answer was, well, we definitely got to get you ready for some bigger rides, in case one of your friends does want to ride Big Thunder Mountain with you. And I was like, whoa. I just couldn't believe it. And honestly, what really blows me away is just how proud I did feel myself of riding my first really big kid ride, which was Big Thunder Mountain. And even though the coaster did kind of scare me a little bit, I'm actually glad I got to ride it. I probably won't be riding Big Thunder Mountain much, even after the refurbishment, but if I get really lucky, I might give it a ride in June, just to see the refurbishment. One and done for me. And back in 2023, I actually did end up on Big Thunder Mountain. But then kabam, I did end up on Big Thunder Mountain in 2023. But knowing my luck, I was into antique slot machines at the time, so I was carrying around a teeny tiny slot machine, and that slot machine nearly went flying out of my choo-choo train, and into oblivion. So that was like my Big Thunder Mountain memory. Is my slot machine flying out of my choo-choo train, and I actually thought it was Barnstormers. So, and I actually mistake Big Thunder as Barnstormers when my sisters were getting on the attraction. I do feel bad for the person riding next to me. I didn't realize that it was a single rider line, and I ended up just sitting down with somebody and I ended up sitting down with a complete stranger instead of my sisters. And I really do feel bad for that stranger, given how much I was like screaming, crying, ranting, and raving, and every single emotion, just like inside out. Oh, that's so awesome, Tyler. I'm so glad to hear. I hope Monk is doing well and is enjoying his evening in Epcot. I'm definitely keeping an eye out I'm definitely keeping an eye out for the Luminous countdown too. This way we can all be there for Luminous. And all be zipping on over. So here you go. Here is Disney with Matthew riding Big Thunder Mountain. Here is the gimbal. Here's the phone recording the Big Thunder Mountain. Oops, I drew the phone the wrong way. Artistic license. Looks a little bit more like an iPod. Oops, this been got a kind of day. So here's Matthew. So here's the phone recording Big Thunder Mountain. Here's the gimbal. And now here's the choo-choo train. Yeah, it looks like that gimbal has a really good grip. Especially given the fact that it has 3 legs. One thing I miss about the new Thunder Mountain is that they repainted the mine cars from being bright, vibrant yellow, vibrant orange, whatever that color is, to like something really, to like a really mundane brown. Imagine mistaking Big Thunder Mountain as Mickey and Minnie's Railroad. You'd be waiting in for one heck of a treat, especially when you think you're gonna be seeing Engineer Goofy, but instead you get Engineer Donald Duck. Yeah, I'd be screaming my eyes out. And I'd probably never go on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad again if I thought that Mickey and Minnie's was Big Thunder Mountain, and vice versa. Especially if I thought that Mickey and Minnie's was Big Thunder Mountain and I was getting myself all hyped for a Big Thunder Mountain, not a perfect picnic. So that definitely win both rides for me if I mistake the rides for each other. Another thing that kind of interests me about Big Thunder Mountain is how can choo-choo train equipment such as like the fountain thingy, the train spouts, this train spout thingy, and the conductor's car hold up at such high speeds going on a roller coaster all day on a roller coaster track. Yeah, this is definitely one heck of a haunted railroad. And you know what's really wild is that there was supposed to be a drop tower attraction in Disneyland Paris inspired by Big Thunder Mountain. Unfortunately, due to the budget constraints and your Disney gone kaput when on opening day, the entire attraction was cancelled and later remade into the Tower of Terror that we see today. So here it is. I almost forgot to draw Disney with Matthew, so here's Disney with Matthew riding the Big Thunder gimbal. Let's make some thunder for Disney. Let's make some thunder for Matthew. And I almost forgot. He needs to be wearing a seatbelt with a yellow strap. Yellow strap. There you go, Matthew. You got a yellow strap for your Big Thunder Mountain. You got a big yellow strap, a big gimbal, and a Big Thunder Mountain. You got a 3 for 1. And don't forget your charger cable and your battery. So there you go, Matthew. You got your battery, a Big Thunder, a big battery, a big phone, a big gimbal, a big choo-choo train, and a Big Thunder Mountain. So you got all the stuff. You're very welcome, Matthew. That's how I be drawing Big Thunder Mountain, and I'm so glad it finally reopened after years. And also, do you know that Disney did put up a construction wall, keeping people seeing the villains in Cars Land construction from the Big Thunder Mountain choo-choo track? That wall can withstand some hurricanes. And hello, Jen, it's so good to see you. Alright, so let's see what other alright, we got for Mrs. Days, one ER coming up. Thank you for your patience. Sometimes when I do draw attractions, they do take a little bit longer. I can't remember on the details. Sometimes when I'm drawing attractions, I go a little overboard on the details. This way you can know. This way you know. This way you know exactly what attraction you got yourself into. And this way you don't be mistaken Big Thunder Mountain for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad, like I nearly did once. It was a really sad, tragic day, and I nearly got in line thinking, heck yeah, let's go ride to Mickey and Minnie's Railroad. Then I remembered that I was not in Disneyland, so I began wondering, how did Big Thunder Mountain get into Disney World, Mickey and Minnie's? And I'm like, oh wait, thank you so much, Shay, for asking. I got myself a bachelor's of fine art in digital design, and when it comes to Disney attractions, I be riding It's a Small World, The People Mover, The Tower of Town, Casey Junior Circus Train, Alice in Wonderland, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Mr. Robert's Cartoon, Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin. The reason I do enjoy all the old school all the old school dark rides is due to the lack of drops and sudden noises. I was not really a big fan. I was not the biggest fan of the Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean due to the fact that it has at least 50 feet worth of drops based off the incline. So I'd be freaking out on Big Thunder Mountain, not Big Thunder Mountain, but on Pirates in Disneyland. Some nope, normal Pirates in Disneyland. Only Disney World that only has one little drop that goes down. Not one gigantic 60-foot, not two gigantic 30-foot waterfalls that plunge you under the Disneyland Railroad. That is so neat. That's so neat, Mrs. Days. I'm curious, but where did you get your ink stippling pen from? Are you ink stippling panda? I'd really love to see an ink stippling panda at work. The most I've seen a panda do was lift some weights in China, and I actually held a baby panda once. I understand, Shay. I don't really like balloons. I don't really like being shoved around in big crowds, especially if kids are holding balloons, firecrackers, or fireworks are going to go off unexpectedly. For me personally, when it comes to fireworks, I don't really mind. For me, when it comes to fireworks, I don't. Oh, come on, technology. For me, when it comes to fireworks, I don't really be caring for unexpected fireworks, which is why I do enjoy myself some happily ever after. Due to the predictable nature of the shows, same with Luminous or any Disney fireworks show. Something about knowing when the fireworks will go off, and when I see the lights, I know that when I see the lights, I know that there's going to be a very big kaboom. That is how I can do Disney fireworks. But not a bunch of random fireworks, and especially out and about especially when I'm out and about during New Year's Eve or 4th of July, I'd be jumping up like a little weasel. That's a good idea, Shay. I do wear earplugs too, but unfortunately they fall off my ears. So I use my hands to cover up my ears unless I'm recording, which is my only one exception. So here's the backside of the oops. And some days be a struggle. Some days honestly be a struggle to talk. That's the magical world of my kind of autism and apraxia speech. I'm curious, Tyler, what do you like about Yum? Yeah, so when it comes to my apraxia, some days I can have really good speaking days. Other days it's a lot of effort, and unfortunately today is a really blah apraxia day. So I kind of have a harder time talking, but I just still enjoy a lot of things. My hands still work. A lot of things my hands still work, and a lot of my muscle memory does work, except for my mouth. My mouth be running down the gutter. Mama Dula, Mama Dula. And even though I do have apraxia of speech, I am still able to chant due to how predictable the chanting is in my mouth. Which is why sometimes I frequently chant when I struggle to speak. Mama Medulla. Mama Medulla. Oh, thank you so much. And I understand too, Shay. It's definitely a rough one out there not having the most reliable speech. And you know what really sucks about not having the most reliable speech is that people start taking knocks at my competence and actually begin to wonder if I'm really credible or intelligent. There was somebody who's like, "Wow, Tony, There's somebody who'd be like, wow, Tony, I'm not sure if you are that great of a designer because you can't really articulate what your work. It's like you can do your work, but something about your inability to articulate makes you look kind of blah and So I don't think you'll ever get hired because of your inability to articulate. I'm like, whoa. So that's like one of my realities is especially in the country where I live right now. I often people's, and especially in the country I live in right now, it is often assumed that somebody's intelligence or competence is based off the verbal articulation alone, and I often get told that, no, but that people have a hard time taking me seriously based off my voice alone and how I present myself socially. So that's why a lot of my opportunities have been cut short or completely removed from my life, to be honest. It's kind of a rough world right now. But I shall keep going. I shall keep on persisting, and nothing can stop us now. So yeah, I realize it can just be that really frustrating little tidbit of reality that can kind of wear on me, especially on really frustrating speech days. To be very honest and transparent. Oh, thank you so much, Lyle. Tony, you've come a long way. I remember when you would not even show your face to people, and yes, you had a fear talking to people. I give you a lot of respect and props for opening up. Oh, thank you so much. And yes, we can definitely draw the Mystic Manor. What's really interesting about the Mystic Manor is that due to Chinese censorship laws, Disney cannot really do much horror themes such as the Haunted Mansion or even anything about monsters or time travel. So they ended up doing something really, taking a really magical spin on the mansion and taking it. Hello, Coach. So good to see you, Coach Maria. And literally turning into a story about a mischief monkey stealing a magician's chest, similar to what we see in Phantom in the Mickey Mouse episode of Phantom Magic. That's really rough to hear, Gizmo. People tend to take advantage of me due to my disabilities, but then they get shocked when they realize that because I'm autistic and have other disabilities does not mean that I'm easily taken advantage of. That is really well put, Gizmo. And I honestly feel the very same way. Is that for me personally, as an autistic individual, yes, I know I'm getting into like a lot of this talk, is as an autistic individual, I cannot recognize that something is wrong or that something is messed up before it's too late. Which is why I tend to ask people, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, why did somebody do that? Hey, why was this said and such and such? So I ask a lot of questions about social and situational awareness in hopes of catching something before a situation turns bad. Alright, so let's see. So here we go, the Mystic Manor from Shanghai, Disneyland. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for your patience tonight. Alright, here we go. Here is a mystical manor. Whoop. One moment, side, y'all. You gotta go beep, 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 beep. So here is one mystical manor coming right up. Of all things, I have never drawn this attraction before. This is actually my very first time drawing the mystical manor. So this is all brand new to me. Wish us luck. And honestly, the reason I didn't show my face when I first started or even use my voice is I was so embarrassed and humiliated by my speech disability that I didn't want anybody to know who I was and how I even sounded. I also tried hiding up what my hands looked like so that nobody could identify me. That is how embarrassed I was of my speech disability when I first started here. And I was also really embarrassed by how I looked. That's why I tried hiding everything that could identify me, and I wasn't even sure. I wasn't even sure if I would even fit in. So I was not honestly. I was not sure if I would actually fit in And that's why I literally hid everything about myself. I was mostly afraid of messing up, not saying the right thing, not doing the right thing, and being taught and being asked to leave the community. So I'm like, no, let's just hide everything about myself. So if I'm asked to, if I'm asked to leave, I won't be as embarrassed. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Mrs. Days. I'm curious, Mrs. Days, how come ER is your favorite Disney cat? I'm curious, what makes ER your favorite? How come ER is your favorite Disney character? Uh-oh, alright, be right back, everybody. Alright, everybody, we are back. Can you hear us loud and clear? YouTube be acting really weird today. We either have sound or we have no sound. What's going on with YouTube today? Let me know if you can hear, or let me know if you can hear. It's okay. It's totally okay. YouTube be acting so strange, and right now YouTube is showing that nobody is watching. So here goes YouTube again. You know what really makes me laugh the hardest is when YouTube is like, you have 0 viewers, but then the chat is flying. The chat's flying, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? YouTube, come on, please and thank you. That what gets me laughing the hardest is when YouTube's like, you have 0 views, nobody is watching, 0 thumbs up, and you just started your stream 13 seconds ago. I'm like, really? I've been here for like a good 30 minutes. People are in the chat, and you're saying that nobody's here watching. I'm like, what? Come on, YouTube. What the heck, YouTube? That what gets me laughing really, really, really hard. And sometimes when I find something really funny, I can't help but repeat myself at least 50 times. I say 15 times. That is how I personally process stuff, is by repeating something 50 times. And that's why sometimes when you're talking to me, I realize that I repeat the same question or repeat the same story at least 5 gazillion times. That's how I'm able to process information, is I find that I have to repeat something like at least 5 times or get the story told to me 5 different times. So that's why I ask a lot of questions too. That's so awesome to hear. See how Melody and I got you on the big screen. Be right back. I know, Shay, YouTube's got some problems. And I'm curious, how are you doing, Sia and Melody? It's so good to see ya. Yeah, right now we're just talking about YouTube being a bug. Sometimes I wonder if YouTube has so many bugs that it can literally make an insect pavilion, and I wonder how much, and I kind of wonder how many insects are inside of YouTube every day, or go through YouTube's audio servers. I also do apologize for some minor lag too. Unfortunately, because of the heat today, we be roasting like a Thanksgiving turkey on Super Bowl Sunday. So we be roasting. We be like roasting like chestnuts on an open fire. You know what's ironic? Is my phone can handle the heat of Disneyland, but cannot handle the heat of a really toasty art studio. That I find funny is what my phone's willing to handle and what my phone's willing to go kaput over. And we got Medulla. A mama Medulla, mama Medulla. So let me know if I need to refresh due to some insects or bugs. That's good. Hello, Melody. It's so good to see you. Right now, we're drawing a the magic manual found in Hong Kong Disneyland. Unfortunately, there's no haunted mansion in I forgot in Shanghai Disneyland as of now. But they're building a Spider-Man themed Tower of Terror, which I'm really hyped to see. I mostly hope that they're going to combine Tower of Terror, ride mechanics with Rise of the Resistance, and Flight of Passage. This way, we can have a 3D Tower of Terror. That's good to hear, Melody. No buggies, no lags, no bugs, bananas. Mama Medulla. Bugs and bananas. And also, in the state of Colorado, I not advise leaving a bowl of 20 bananas out on the dining room table unless you want 20,000 fruit flies and mites. Welcome to sunny Colorado. And yeah, sometimes I do run out of things to say or even talk about, so I'd stop talking about insects and bugs and snakes. So I got ourselves a mama medulla. Oh, just about the medulla. So if anybody's new or curious, and you want to know why, and you know what, and you really want to know what a medulla is, drum roll, everybody. This is what a medulla is. This is a medulla. And you want to know why this is a... come on, why is this thing blowing? And you want to know why this is a medulla? Is see these elevators that open up? When these elevators open up, it goes medulla. So yes, this is a 360 view of a medulla, not a termite. Or not a banana roach. Mama medulla, I love you. Moving on. And actually, wait, if you're curious, this is actually not the Hong Kong Tower of Terror, but rather this is the Mystical Manor. Woo! Mystical Manor. This is the Mystical Manor that you can find in Hong Kong Disneyland. Same with the Spider-Man Drop Tower being built in Hong Kong Disneyland too, which really gets me all pumped up. I'd really love to see a Spider-Man Tower of Terror combine the Flight of Passage, the Flight of Passage, the Flight of Passage ride system, the Tower of Terror, and of course, Rise of the Resistance, Ride Simulator, Flight Simulator, Drop Tower thingy. What I find really wild about Rise of the Resistance is how Rise of the Resistance combines a drop tower and a flight simulator all in one. Plus, it's a walkthrough attraction. And it reminds me of the Threed from the Lost that can do anything. Everybody needs a Threed. Everybody needs a Rise of the Resistance. Not a Threed today. Come on, everybody, let's ride Rise of the Resistance. It's a drop tower flight simulator. And Tony can't sing for nothing. Because of the medulla. Not because of the medulla. Oops. Sorry, medulla. I can't sing because of the medulla. The medulla actually helps me sing. So I forgot what I was going to say, but I was going to say something like usual. Welcome to my life. Welcome to my life. I say something, but then I forget what I'm going to say, so I say something else anyways. So the medulla. So here is the facade of the Mystic Manor that can definitely take some time to draw, which I'm okay with. I just enjoy drawing some rather complex ride facades, even if they take me a little bit longer. That I enjoy doing. Aw, thank you so much, Melody. Mama Dula, I love you. When I first started drawing, I'm not sure why, but when I was around 5 years old, there was something just really interesting about sculpting Play-Doh, and instead of eating Halloween candy, I actually turned my candy into sculptures. This was my very first time that I realized that there was something inside of the shiny wrappers. One Halloween ago, on a dark and stormy afternoon, I was in my room sculpting something with some Halloween candy. Lo and behold, I heard a crunching sound, and I was like, "What the heck's going on? What the heck? What the heck?" So I looked down at my sculpture, and there was something, and there was something on the wrapper. It looked like chocolate, but I was not quite sure what it was. So I was like, Mom, what is it?" My mom comes running into my room, and she's like, Tony." I'm like, "What? What, Mom?" "That's candy." And I was like, "Mom, what is candy? What's candy?" "Oh, thank you, Robin. And yes, I'm part of the Disney Streamer Network." So going back to the candy, I was like literally just looking at it saying, what was that stuff?" And I'm like, Mom, can you eat it?" So she's like, "Yes, you can eat it." So I ate the candy, and I immediately spit it out. I cannot really comprehend what was the point of candy, and why you would eat something so sweet, why you would eat something that you were meant to sculpt with. So I actually thought that on Halloween, you were instead of getting candy, you were getting shiny stuff that you could sculpt with. That was my very first run into candy with candy. And oops, I nearly forgot to draw. Oops, sorry, Haunted Mansion. There's going to be a lot of fences. I'm not sure why, but this Haunted Mansion does remind me of I forgot, of like a, not a coconut thingy, but a white chocolate bomb. An Oreo chocolate bomb. And now I got the log stuck in my head. You know you live in a household with like a toddler or like a grandbaby, is when you hear the same movie in the same soundtrack 5 bazillion times a day. I've seen Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, I 50 bazillion times, more times than the dinosaurs have ever roamed the planet. That's how it feels like. So yep, that's the raw reality of hearing the television 24/7. Here it is. The one and only mystical manor with banana trees in the background. Not banana trees, but I mean palm trees. That's so. I do like putting candy cone. I do like putting candy cone on some whipped cream too. And when it comes to candy cone, I be feasting on that too. But ultimately, my very, very, very favorite Halloween candy is the Laffy Taffy, the Willy Wonka Laffy Taffy. I do miss the Willy Wonka branding too. And also, do you know that the very first Willy Wonka movie? Do you know that the very first Willy Wonka movie was actually created to advertise the Quakers brand? But unfortunately, Royal Dahl and the producers, they cannot see eye to eye, especially when they were trying to depict Willy Wonka's film. Though Royal Dahl did not really like the Willy Wonka film. Unfortunately, that meant there was no sequel to the Great Glass Elevator or to Charlie in the White House. I would really love if they actually created a Charlie in the Great Glass Elevator movie. If that movie did come to fruition, I'd be running straight to theaters with my 3D glasses on, my extra large soda, my extra large ball popcorn, and asking for the theater with Dolby surround sound, please and thank you, and 3D hologram vision. Yummy, yummy, yummy. My tummy with the Reese's Peanut Butter Pumpkin Kings. I learned that Reese's peanut butter pumpkin kings are not very good in pinatas, especially on a hot July day. Do not, whenever you do, don't put Reese's in a really toasty pinata. Unless you want chocolate to be oozing all over your 4th of July picnic. So, whenever I draw palm trees, not sure why, but I always put 3 coconuts with 3 little dots. Even though this is not a coconut palm tree, but rather a fan palm tree, a Mexican fan palm tree, I always put coconuts. Not sure why, but you can't have a palm tree without at least 3 coconuts. That's what happens when you start learning. That's what happens when you visit the beach. That's what happens when you visit the beach when you're very young and you learn to draw from what you see in real life. So you just draw coconuts on everything. And of course the rule of threes. Yummy, yummy, yummy. The pumpkins too. And whatever you do not stop. Also, whatever you do is don't leave your Reese's peanut butter thingies sitting outside for 5 hours where you go enjoy the 4th of July fireworks. Learned that mistake years ago. But when it comes to Laffy Taffies, even though they're more taffies than Laffy by hour number 5, they're really delicious after being melted in the Hawaiian sun for quite some time. So here it is. Another palm tree. Yes, another palm tree with crisscross lines. Another thing I learned as a cartoonist is if you have to draw the same character multiple times, whatever you do not have to wear plaids or polka dots because you'll be drawing a lot of plaids and polka dots and it can get very tedious. So just put all your cartoon characters in a very plain t-shirt. That's what I learned from doing cartoons. Aw, thank you so much. These do look like some Mario palm trees. And Lyle will be like, no, I don't like no cotton candy cones. I'm curious, Lyle, what kind of candy is your favorite candy? So, you know what would be really amazing and tasty is if we could have candy cone, mustard, whipped cream, at beaches and cream, and we can put a bunch of like sprinkles on our hamburgers with candy cone. Oh, that's amazing, Lyle. I would want all the Christmas cookies at the Magic Kingdom during the Christmas party and all the coffee. I can drink that, but I take hot chocolate too. Same here, Lyle. I do love myself some Christmas cookies, and I'd be devouring them like Pac-Man if I ever got a Mickey's Christmas party ticket. What's really wild? What's really wild about the Mickey's Christmas party is that the cookies used to be home baked, and they were literally on the trays ready to be feasted on. Unfortunately, due to Florida's insect issues, Disney had to start wrapping any food that they displayed outside in plastic wraps, which kind of took away some of the magic, sadly. But no less, but I still hear the cookies are rather tasty, even though you must remove them from a plastic wrap to comply with food safety rules in Florida. That's the last I've heard about the cookies. Aw, thank you so much, Matthew. And yep, I'll be eating some candy corn and oysters. There was one time when I found myself eating a Twinkie and a lobster tail at the same time. That was like a long time ago when I was eating a Twinkie with a lobster tail. I looked down, I realized I was about to dip my Twinkie in my lobster sauce, and I'm like, oops, that's the wrong food. Let me dip my lobster in the sauce stuff. And I promise this is not Curious George. The mystical Mano? Yes, that's Abu, not Curious George. So does anybody have any last hour requests before we do have to wrap up for tonight? I do have to get some evening chores and tasks done. So if you have any one last hour request, let's hear it. And unfortunately, had to be it for this week. After this, we're all going to Disney with Monk's Disney stores. If not, we can all if anybody's ready, let us know, and we can go on over to Monks to see if we can watch ourselves some Luminous. I'll definitely be having Luminous and the 86 band blasting in the background while I'm cleaning. But I hope to be able to chat too. So, who's ready? Who's ready to go over to Disney with Monk? Disney. One moment. Let me get this. Let me see if I can do. Let me see if I can do the YouTube thingy. Oops. Monk's Disney stores. Here you go. Why are you not looking YouTube? Thank you so much, Tyler Sonot. Let's go on over to monks. Here we go. Whoop. What button do I push again? Here it is. Going once, going twice. Here you go. Alright, so here it is. Disney with monks. Let's go on over to Disney with monks, and we'll see you right there for some Epcot. Woo! Thank you everybody for being here for an amazing time, an amazing night of artwork. And we'll see you next Sunday with even more live art coming your way. So see you on everybody. Woo! And have a fantastic evening. You too, Robin. You too, Gizmo. You too, Tay Jalen. Have a fantastic evening. Tyler, Lyle, Melody, Cia, it's so good to see you all. Thank you so much for being here. Disney with Matthew. And Shay too, in the Puck days. I do apologize if I missed anybody. It's been kind of a long day. And you too, James. Have a great night too. We'll see you next week for even more live art requests.